ko sa kanila noon, I don't believe in religion. What's important is your relationship with God.
Yun yung sabi mo.
Ayun ang sabi ko. Kasi yan ang common na sinasabi ng mga born again. Naririnig mo to, di ba? Hindi mahalaga ang relationship. Hindi mahalaga ang religion. Ang mahalaga ay relationship mo kay Lord. So akala ko, that's like, I just took it as it is. Tapos tinanong ako ng mga Catholic friends ko, I think this too, yung binanggit ko si Rob tsaka si Jonathan, sabi nila sa akin, but do you know the Latin root word of the word religion? So sabi ko, no. Why?
So ano
It's
nga ba?
religare. You know what religare means?
Ano ang religare?
What does religare mean? It means relationship with the Lord or relationship with God. So yung graven images, for example, bibigyan kita ng very, very basic example na tinatanggap lang ng mga born-again Christian without really thinking through it. Kasi ganun ang nangyari sa akin noon, ano? Exodus 20 verse 4, pag binasa mo siya, sabi nga ng teksto, bawal yung graven images. Bawal yung may kamukha sa langit, may kamukha sa lupa, may kamukha sa ilalim ng lupa. Bawal na yumuko ka at sambahin sila.
Yeah.
Ito ang problema. Scriptural text taken without context is always a pretext. Tika, Santo Papa, no? I posted something on Facebook that went like this. Sabi ko, finally, Lolo Kiko is here.
Okay.
Di ba yun ang tawag natin sa kanya? And then yung tagline ng papal visit was mercy and compassion. Ito na, pagdating ko sa church ko, pagbalik ko, I mean, the ecclesial community I was part of, the born-again community, after service, no, talagang inano ko nung isang leader, one of the leaders, sabi niya, Burns, we're worried about you.
Worried?
Worried daw sila. Sabi ko, bakit? Anong ginawa ko? So sabi niya, nabasa namin yung post mo sa Facebook. So sabi ko, ano problema sa post ko? Sabi nga, we think Satan is deceiving you. Alam mo, nung sinabi niya sa akin, parang merong switch sa utak ko na napatanong ako ng isang bagay na hindi ko akalaing itatanong ko sa kanya.
Which was?
Kuya, paano po kung tayo yung mali?
Sa gitna ng maingay na mundo, hanap mo ba ang sandaling puno ng inspirasyon, pagdinilay at syempre kaunting kasiyahan? Mga kwento ng puso na hindi lang nagbibigay aral, kundi nagbibigay din ng ngiti at pag-asa sa ating paglalakbay sa pananampalataya.
Ako po, si Romar Chuka.
At ito ang Sensei, na kung saan ang bawat kwento ay patunay na buhay ang pananampalataya.
He was my Theo 101 professor. Una niyang tanong sa klase, sino dito yung mga hindi Katoliko, yung mga born-again Christians? Taas ako, syempre, I was proud ako.
With hubris.
With hubris. No? Sabi ko, I know I'm saved eh. No? I knew Catholics are going to hell. Ako, maliligtas ako, born-again ako eh. Once saved, always saved. Kala ko makikipagtalo siya. No? Sabi niya, okay, he just explained what the course is all about, what the subject was all about. And then, I started attending his classes. I still remember the schedule, Tuesday, Friday at 5:30 p.m. yata or 6 p.m. And then, he is a mentor, seasoned mentor siya. So, lahat ng estudyante niya, imagine, we were like 25 in the class. He would try to meet us one by one. Ganon siyang kapassionate sa apostolate or sa ministry. So, nung turn ko na, kala ko makikipagtalo siya, i-convert niya ako sa Catholicism. So, naghanda ako ng mga bala. So, kala ko makikipagtalo.
Maging apologetic na.
Apologies na naman tayo na mode, no? Then, when I talked to him, sabi niya sa akin, no, Burns, tell me about your story. Nagpakwento lang siya. He was very interested in listening to my story of how I became a born-again Christian. Naghihintay ako na i-correct niya ako, pero hindi eh. He was just really trying to be a good friend and a sincere one at that. Tapos nagpaulit-ulit yung conversation namin. No? Tapos nagkikwento ako about our ministry. Ginagawa ko sa simbahan yung gusto ko maging pastor. Alam mo, ini-encourage niya ako, be more active in the ministry. Why don't you also talk to your cell group members, to your ministry members one-on-one? Why don't you try mentoring them? Sa kanya ko natutunan yun eh.
Perhaps you did not expect.
I did not.
Kasi parang, attacking sana.
Yes.
Na
ganun
kaya
ako eh.
Handa ng bala. Tapos parang you were caught off guard.
I was.
Because it was a listening stance.
It was a listening stance. It was about dialogue. It was about friendship. Kakapi kami,
human to human.
Kakain kami. Sometimes he's the one opening up. Imagine, he's older than me. Senior citizen. Opening up na about his life, no, some of his fears. So, needless to say, naging magkaibigan talaga kami ni Roque. So, if you know the book Tuesdays with Maury,
parang gano'n.
Every week kami nagmi-meet. Tuesday yung klase ko. Punta ako sa office niya. I would open up to him.
Sino ba author ng Tuesdays with Morrie?
Si Mitch Albom.
Mitch Albom, who
Yes.
the one who wrote Have a Little Faith.
Exactly,
Okay,
no? So, ganun yung dynamics namin. And then when I was in the university, I also met Catholics na hindi ko kasi ako, di ba, I just went through the motion. Hindi ko alam yung mga explanation about the faith eh. In this university, I met people who knew the faith. They can explain it from the Bible. In fact, yung Theo 102 ko is about the sacraments. Ang teacher ko niya si Father Cesar Santos. No? He's also a priest of Opus Dei. Papasok siya sa classroom, ang bit-bit lang niya, minsan New Testament lang, tsaka yung whiteboard marker. Magsusulat siya sa board ng mga Bible verses plus mga verses from the catechism. Noong time na yun, bago sa akin yung catechism. Hindi ko alam na may ganun pala. No? And then, ang galing niya mag-explain, Romar, kasi napapaliwanag niya yung mga sakramento ng simbahan sa pamamagitan ng Biblia mismo. So for a Protestant like me, who believed in sola scriptura, pag sinabi sola scriptura, lahat ng paniniwalaan mo dapat nakalagay sa Biblia.
Yes.
That was fresh for me. Bago yun.
Kasi hala, biblical pala yung sacrament.
Exactly. No? So, kumbaga, unti-unting lumuluwag yung pakiramdam ko at kalooban ko patungo sa mga Katoliko kasi hindi sila nakikipagtalo sa akin. They were just trying to be good friends. So, I remember this one conversation with another celibate, a younger one naman. His name is Robbie Cortez. Sabi dalawa sila, I think it's not just Robbie Cortez, another convert from Buddhism to Catholicism. His name is Jonathan Chuan, another good friend. Sabi ko sa kanila noon, I don't believe in religion. What's important is your relationship with God.
Yun yung sabi mo.
Ayun ang sabi ko. Kasi yan ang common na sinasabi ng mga born again. Naririnig mo to, di ba? Hindi mahalaga ang relationship. Hindi mahalaga ang religion. Ang mahalaga ay relationship mo kay Lord. So akala ko, that's like, I just took it as it is. Tapos tinanong ako ng mga Catholic friends ko, I think this too, yung binanggit ko si Rob tsaka si Jonathan. Sabi nila sa akin, but do you know the Latin root word of the word religion? So sabi ko, no. Why?
So ano
It's
nga ba?
religare. You know what religare means?
Ano religare?
What does religare mean? It means relationship with the Lord or relationship with God. So each time you say that religion is not important, what's important is relationship with God, you are contradicting yourself. And then they directed me to the book of James. No? Sa James, makikita mo doon sa epistle of James, there is a proper type of religion while there is also a wrong notion of religion. Sabi ni James, true religion is this: caring for the orphans, caring for the sick, serving the Lord, etc. Nasa James yan. I just forgot the exact verse, but you can search it up. I-google nyo lang, no? True religion is this: caring for the orphans. Lalabas dyan yung James. I think
parang
chapter 2.
Beatitudes na.
Oo. So sabi ko, wala naman pala masama sa religion. So kumbaga, may mga misconceptions ako na unti-unting nako-correct nung naging estudyante ako sa UANP. Although, syempre, hubris, may dream ako maging pastor, hindi pa rin ako naging Katoliko. I stayed as a Protestant, although this time, much more friendly to the Catholics. Kumbaga, hindi ko na inisip na pupunta sila lahat sa impyerno.
Parang napalabas ng UANP yung critical.
Probably.
Pagiging critical thinking.
Exactly. I think you really hit it at the nail, no? Because a lot of born-again Christians, I love all of them because I was once a born-again Christian. A lot of us, I would say us, kasi I still, connect with this part of Christianity. A lot of us would just accept whatever we hear from the pastors. No?
Yes, Lord.
Kumbaga, kung ano yung sinabi, sinasamba ng mga Catholic si Maria, tapos babasa ng Bible verse.
Natamo, yan o.
Nandiyan pala. For example, bibigyan kita ng very clear example, yun na lang sa statues of the saints. Exodus 20 verse 4 really tells us, thou shalt not have any graven images. Ipakita mo yan sa isang Katoliko, iisipin niya talaga, graven images kay Mama Mary ko.
Oo. Ano
Pero,
bang graven?
Graven is parang nilikha. Niyari sa kamay.
Buti akin plastic, so okay lang. Okay.
So yung graven images, for example, bibigyan kita ng very, very basic example na tinatanggap lang ng mga born-again Christian without really thinking through it. Kasi ganun ang nangyari sa akin noon, ano? Exodus 20 verse 4, pag binasa mo siya, sabi nga ng teksto, bawal yung graven images. Bawal yung may kamukha sa langit, may kamukha sa lupa, may kamukha sa ilalim ng lupa. Bawal na yumuko ka at sambahin sila.
Yeah.
Ito ang problema. Scriptural text taken without context is always a pretext. Uulitin ko yan, ha? Scriptural text yung teksto ng Biblia
Oo.
nawala sa tamang konteksto,
Nawala sa tamang, kumbaga, pagkaunawa sa kung ano yung nakapalibot doon.
nakapalibot at kung bakit siya isinulat nung nagsulat nung aklat.
Doon. Kasi
Oo.
nabubuhay siya sa isang history.
Sa panahon, no, sa isang oras, panahon, isang lugar na
may
kultura, may karanasan na naaayon dun sa kanilang panahon mismo.
Oo,
No?
siyempre.
So kapag hindi mo nalaman yung konteksto nun, makikita mo na mali nga yung mga Katoliko kasi parang, okay, may Mama Mary tayo, meron tayong mga santo. Diba? But they are not the graven images being talked about in Exodus 20 verse 4.
Yun nga eh. Oo.
These are the pagan graven images. Take note, do not worship the image of something that has the likeness of anything that is above. That time, kapatid, di ba, alam natin na sinasamba ng mga paganong Israelita yung araw, yung buwan, yung mga bituin. So, sabi ng Panginoon, huwag kang gagawa ng Diyos-Diyosang may kamukha sa taas.
Oo.
Sinasamba rin yung palaka. Di ba? One of the plagues sa Egypt, di ba? Sinamba nila yung palaka. Sinasamba nila yung mga creatures dito. Sinasamba rin yung isda, yung mga ibang mga creatures under the sea. So, yun yung konteksto noon. Pero hindi pinagbawal ng Panginoon ang paggawa ng mga imahe kasi kung babasahin mo naman ang Exodus 25, 5 chapters ahead lang to ha. Pero take note, in my years as a Protestant, hindi ko na-consider yung connection nila. Wala akong idea sa context. No? Exodus 25.
Hindi kabuuan eh, no?
Hindi. Exodus 25, pag binasa mo, makikita mo ang Diyos mismo ang nagpapagawa kay Moises ng tabernakulo na mayroong imahe ng mga anghel. Eh ano ba yung anghel? Di ba may kamukha yan sa langit? So, pwede bang kinontradict ng Panginoon ang sarili niya? Hindi. No, you have to take it into context. Kaibigan, nahihirapan ka bang makatulog o makapagdasal? Ikaw ba ay dumadaan sa depresyon at nangangailangan ng kapayapaan? Ako po si Burns, ang namumuno sa Hallow App sa Pilipinas, isa ring dating anti-Catholic Protestant. Inaanyayahan ko po kayo na subukan itong app na Hallow. Ito po ang #1 Catholic prayer and meditation app sa buong mundo ngayon na meron ng higit sa 20 million downloads. Pag ginamit niyo po itong app na to, magkakaroon po kayo ng access sa mga Bible studies, sa mga panalangin, sa mga meditations na sigurado magpapalalim sa inyong pananampalataya at magbibigay ng mas malalim na kapayapaan para makatulog kayo ng mahimbing kapiling ni Jesus. Kaya mga kaibigan, tara, dasal tayo. Mga kaibigan, gusto nyo bang mapalalim ang inyong pananampalatayang Katoliko sa pamamagitan ng mga inspiring na kwento na tiyak mag-uudyok sa iyo na paglingkuran si Jesus ng mas malalim? Inaanyayaan ko kayo na manood sa mga napakagandang documentaries, mga interviews and features ng 5 Siglo. I-follow nyo lang sila sa social media at 5 Siglo. Hindi. No, you have to take it into context. So sa New Testament naman, sa Timothy, sabi ni San Pablo, you only have one mediator between Christ and men, which is Jesus our Lord. So ang interpretation ng mga born-again Christians, katulad ko noon, huwag kayong magdarasal sa mga santo kasi iisa lang ang taga-pamagitan. Akala ko noon, yung pagdarasal ng mga Katoliko sa mga santo, paglamang or pag-surplant or pagpapalit. Substitute ba dun sa mediatorship ni Jesus? Nung in-explain ngayon sa amin sa school, sa theology class, that this is not a replacement, it's not a substitution, but a participation. In fact, babasahin mo 2 verses before that very verse. Si San Pablo mismo ang nagsasabi, kaya kayo ipagdasal ninyo yung mga hari, yung mga tao, yung mga principalities, lahat ng mga tao ipanalangin ninyo, maging tagapamagitan kayo para sa ibang tao sapagkat ito'y nakabubuti at kaaya-aya sa mata ng Panginoon. So, kumbaga, marami pa yung examples na ganyan, Romar. What I learned is, I learned how to put scriptures into context.
Na yan yung training na binigay ng UANP
Exactly.
sa'yo.
Yan yung sinatawag mong critical thinking na hindi ko natutunan noon. Kasi ang dali lang, sasabihin lang ng pastor before, ng mga leaders ng simbahan, okay, sinasamba ng mga Katoliko si Maria, ito yung mga verses tungkol dyan. Pag binasa mo, oo nga no. Oo nga no, parang bang, di ba? Pero pag meron ka palang background, kung ano yung ibig sabihin, tas minsan, you just have to read the whole thing eh. Another very good example, John 3 verse 3. Unless man is born again, he cannot enter the kingdom of God.
If you take it to the context, dapat maging born again ka.
Dapat nga daw born again ako. So sabi sa akin, ngayon kapatid, ikay born again, ligtas ka na.
Parang it's that easy, binary,
Oo.
turn on or turn
Diba?
off na ano.
So, another thing na na-realize ko noon is walang unity within the Protestant church kasi iba-iba ng tinuturo. Like for example, yung isang pastor sa amin, di pala siya pastor, ng church leader, sabi niya, baptism is not important. It's just a symbol. Sabi naman nung isa, important ang baptism. It's a public declaration of your faith eh. Sabi naman nung isa, okay lang kahit di ka baptized, maliligtas ka, but tatanggapin mo si Kristo bilang Panginoon at tagapagligtas. Kumbaga, within the born-again church mismo, there are disagreements. Walang, sabi, ano bang totoo rito? Yun yung na-realize ko na
Walang council.
walang magisterium. Diba? Wala silang council of elders. Meron, pero at they will agree as a group, pero they will disagree with another group. Kasi ganun kami. Wala kaming definitive teaching on baptism. No? So, when I became a student of theology in UAMP, kahit hindi ako major in theology, talagang wow, grabe. Eye-opening sa akin yung experience na yun.
Yeah.
So, mahalaga na mag-aral tayo ng Bible and Catholic Catechism.
Oo. Ang lalim ng hugot, no? Pero kailan mo na-discover na okay, wait lang, hindi na pala ako magiging
Okay.
evangelical?
So, take note. Sometimes, makulit tayo eh. Sabi ko sa'yo kanina nung una, may hubris, di ba? Attach ako dun sa dream ko na maging pastor eh. Para bang, ayokong pakawalan yun. Sabi ko nga, ang pangarap ko lang nung college ako, nung nag-aaral ako, sabi ko, Lord, sana po pagka-graduate, makapasok na ako sa seminary, Protestant seminary, para mag-aasawa ako ng isang katulad ko rin, mag-church planting kami, magtatayo kami ng iba't ibang simbahan around the world. May ganun akong dream. Nung nasa fourth year college na ako, merong isang nangyari na I'm sure maaalala mo. Bumisita ang Santo Papa.
Okay.
This was 2015, no?
Magka-college tayo, magka-batch tayo.
Kabatch tayo. Oh, yeah. Kabatch tayo. 20 ano ka ba
2015 ako graduate eh.
2016 ako.
Oh,
Wala ka lang ng 1 year.
oh.
Anyway, so 2015, dumating si Pope Francis dito. Ito na. I would say this is my turn. So imagine this, no? You are a born-again Christian, passionate about the faith, pero you also receive a very deep Catholic formation from a university. Very organized yung teaching, lahat na bigay sa'yo. Kasi, Romar, in UANP, re-require kami basa ng mga encyclicals.
Talaga?
One of the best ones that I've studied was Rerum Novarum. Kaya ganun na lang excitement ko nung si Leo XIV ay in-announce.
Well, Rerum Novarum muna is yung una,
Well, it's a letter of the Pope about 1891. It's really about, it's one of the, if I would say, the Rerum Novarum is a letter from Pope Leo XIII that really talked about the rights of workers.
Oo.
Kaya shortly after that, I wouldn't say siya mismo yung dahilan, nagkaroon ng 8-hour work week. Because of, before kasi noon, walang limits eh. No? So, yung mga ganyang documents ng simbahan.
Can I at least, also point out that it was also aligned with your course?
Exactly. It was labor. Speaking of that, no, meron akong subject na philosophy of work. So, pinag-aralan ko yung philosophy ni Saint Jose Maria Escriva. And we spent many months really geeking out on, I don't know if it's an encyclical, I forget now. May sinulat si Pope John Paul II, who's now a saint. Ang pangalan is Laborem Exercens.
Laborem Exercens.
So, talagang grabe, the dignity of work, all of these things. I also had a subject called Philosophy of the Family. So, ang required reading, Familiaris Consortio.
Okay.
So, I would say hindi lahat ng born-again Christian would have that opportunity to deep dive into the catechism.
Pero ikaw siguro, parang gusto mo i-deep dive kasi nung yung part of the hubris was...
Gusto ko pa try mali. So, tama ka doon. No? But each time I would wanna prove Catholics were wrong, parang ang ganda, no? I read the documents of Vatican II when I was in college. Nostra Aetate. Nostra Aetate, mga kapatid, ito po yung deklarasyon ng simbahan sa kanyang relasyon sa iba't ibang relihiyon.
Yes.
No, sinabi dito na bagaman merong mga liwanag ng katotohanan sa ibang pananampalataya,
ray of truth.
May ray of truth, nasa atin yung kabuuan ng katotohanan,
Fullness.
di ba? Fullness of truth. No, so, grabe, sabi ko, ganda, very elegant yung pagkakasulat. I started reading the Church Fathers. Sabi ko, hindi tinuturo sa akin to ng pastor ko. Wala kaming ganyan sa sermon namin sa simbahan, ano? So,
Kasi sila Calvin lang, or hindi naman.
hindi, actually, straight from the Bible, no?
Okay, oo.
In fact, ang church ko na, I was part of the G12 Church. Ang founder namin si Pastor Cesar Castellanos from Venezuela sa South America.
Okay,
No, so, imagine that. You're immersed in that. And then parang nagiging buo sa isipan ko yung Catholic theology. It's making sense intellectually, but it's not affecting me personally.
Wala yung emotion.
Wala. Parang diretso lang, sige, Bible study pa rin ako. Pero I couldn't find in me to say, pupunta sa impyerno yung mga Katoliko, sinasamba nila yung mga rebulto. Kasi gets ko na eh. Parang sabi ko na, I'm just staying as a Protestant kasi I am going to be a pastor. May attachment ako, attachment issues, no? Attach ako sa dream ko, worldly desires. So kayo nung dumating ang Santo Papa, no? I posted something on Facebook that went like this. Sabi ko, finally, Lolo Kiko is here.
Okay.
Di ba yun ang tawag natin sa kanya? And then yung tagline ng papal visit was mercy and
Compassion.
Naalala mo pa. So I posted on Facebook, no? May mga followers ako ngayon sa Facebook, nire-resurrect nila yung post kasi nandun talaga siya. So you can check it on my personal Facebook. Sabi ko doon, I am not a Catholic Christian, but may His message of mercy and compassion inspire all of us to be united in the faith.
Ang
Daming comments ng mga evangelical friends ko, they were happy, gusto rin nila si Pope Francis, tuwan-tuwa sila sa kanya. Eto na, pagdating ko sa church ko, pagbalik ko, I mean, the ecclesial community I was part of, the born-again community, after service, no, talagang inano ko nung isang leader, one of the leaders, sabi niya, Burns, we're worried about you. Sabi ko, worried daw sila. Sabi ko, bakit? Anong ginawa ko? So at that time, I forgot to tell you, I was one of the leaders already. No?
Okay.
So, sa
Pero parang siyang pastor or parang konti na lang
youth pastor
ka na?
siya.
Okay.
No, youth pastor
May
siya.
ordination yan to be the youth?
Iba yung process sa kanila eh. Parang
Okay.
may certificate. Ordination din ang tawag, pero iba ang process sa atin sa mga Catholics.
Pero naging pastor ka technically?
Hindi ako umabot sa ordination. I was just one of the leaders of the church.
Okay.
So sabi ko sa'yo, di ba G12 yung church ko noon? G12 is like, si Pastor Cesar sa Venezuela, he got 12 apostles or 12 primary 12 leaders worldwide. Yung 12 na yan, nagkaroon ng 12. No? So, umabot hanggang dito sa Pilipinas. May national 12, may regional 12. No?
Okay.
So, gigets mo siya.
May gusto sana ako sabihin pero wag na lang baka offensive sa kanila eh. Alam ko.
Well, sabi nga nila, para daw open-minded ka ba? So, parang gano'n. It can be misconstrued as networking.
Ayun yun.
No? But it's not going to be offensive kasi they also know this. If they're part of the G12 Church, they know what I mean. So, meron kami tinatawag noon, are you part of the 1728? Are you part of the 144? Are you part of the 12?
Ano naman yun?
Ito yung parang membership mo. Kumbaga, 1728, nandun ka sa parang, in our church, parang the lay people. No? 144 is like, oy, malapit ka na doon sa primary 12. No? Kumbaga, may nililid ka na.
Kasi 1728 yun nasa baba. Parang
12 times 12 times 12.
exponential. May mathematics pala involved.
Kaya nga, sumakit ang ulo ko doon. Kaya nga ako nag-psychology. Ayoko ng math eh. Di ba? So anyway, I became part of the primary 12. So this other guy was also part of the primary 12. Kumbaga, pag pinabing primary 12, pastor namin, yun yung head namin. Kami nagde-disciple kami ng mga members. I was heading one of the youth ministries
yung
before.
12 to the second power ata.
Something like that, no? Kung gusto mo maging mathematical. So sabi niya, nabasa namin yung post mo sa Facebook. And during the time na nag-post ako sa Facebook, they were doing a prayer meeting. Absent ako sa prayer meeting. So sabi ko, ano pong problema sa post ko? Sabi nga, we think Satan is deceiving you. Why?
Medyo ano yun ah.
Why? Bakit kuya? Di ba alam mo naman that the Catholic Church is, the Pope is the Antichrist in flesh? No? Alam mo naman that the Vatican is the city on top of a hill that was prophesied to be the synagogue of Satan, the whore of Babylon. Ganun kasi, nandun ako, napunta ako sa part ng born-again Christianity na talagang fundamentalist yung tingin.
Demonized talaga.
Demonized yung Santo Papa, demonized yung simbahan, although you won't openly hear it. No? Kapag pag nasa leadership ka, kumbaga advanced knowledge yan for you na kailangan mag-guide mo yung mga tao na itigil na yung pagmimisa, all of these things. Kumbaga yun yung mga, ito yung sinasabi ko sa recycled misconceptions na paulit-ulit na kumakalat. Na hindi naman ako correct kung simpleng pag-isipan mo lang. So, alam mo, sinabi niya sa akin yun. No? He started quoting scriptures from the book of Isaiah, book of Revelation. These are all the proof texts that we've used against the Catholic Church. Para bang may flip switch sa utak ko? Kasi nga, sabi ko at that point, mga more than 3 years na ako nag-formation. No?
Kaya ito lang question. Parang, at that point in time, ilang years ka ng evangelical Christian?
Fourth year ko na ito.
Fourth year na?
Yes. Kasi fourth year high school ako, nag-convert.
Tapos college.
No? Tapos this one, fourth year college na to.
Get.
No? Parang 4 years, di ba? So, ngayon, sabi sa akin nung youth leader na yon, nung one of kuya ko siya, mas matanda siya sa akin. No? na dapat daw balikan ko yung basics of the faith, no? Kasi nami-mislead na daw ako na bakit ko daw hahayaan
Masyado ka nang nag-aaral sa UANP.
Oo, ganun.
Parang
Exactly. Those are the words na parang, alam mo, kakapatid, si St. Paul nga, kahit matalino, hindi nagpakamatalino sa gospel eh. He subsumed his intelligence in the service of the gospel. In my mind, I'm like, that's what I'm trying to do. Diba? I'm learning about God, trying to divinize or spiritualize the knowledge that I have to sanctify it. Alam mo, nung sinabi niya sa akin, yung parang merong switch sa utak ko na napatanong ako ng isang bagay na hindi ko akalaing itatanong ko sa kanya.
Which was?
Kuya, paano pa? Sabi ko, nung ginagawa ko yung penance ko, I realized, di ba, all I asked for Mama Mary was to give me peace. I realized that she did not just give me peace. She brought me home. I learned about the councils. No, si Pope Damasus pala ang nag-canonize ng scriptures. I'm like, teka muna, Santo Papa to Di ba dapat anti-Christ ang Santo Papa? Di ba dapat he will burn in hell, stuff like that? Mga ganyan-ganyan, ano? Hindi naman ako sumigaw, no? But I really told Mary, alam mo, na-frustrate na ako. No? I knelt down in front of Mary after many years. For the first time, I told her, you know, Mary, sabi ng pastor ko, kasalanan na kausapin kita. Sabi ng pastor ko, sorry, I'm getting emotional.
Okay lang.
Sabi ng pastor ko, hindi mo ko naririnig kasi patay ka. Sabi ng pastor ko, idolatria itong ginagawa ko. Pero hindi ko alam bakit ako naririto. Diba? I was like, sabi ko lang sa kanya, Mama Mary, for the first time I called her Mama Mary, no? Kung totoo ka, no? Kung talagang naririnig mo ko, kung talagang dapat ako magdasal sa iyo, give me peace. No, kasi halimbawa, paano yan, brother? Wala naman akong makausap sa parish namin. Try the catechist. Baka yung katekista, pwede kang matulungan. No? In fact, sa panahon ngayon, Romar, may technology na. I mentioned earlier yung Catholic Answers Podcast. Very helpful po yan, mga kaibigan. No? Punta kayo sa YouTube, Catholic Answers Podcast. Kapag gusto mo ng inspiration on Filipino Catholicism, yung YouTube channel ni Adrian Milag, maraming
si
doon,
Adrian.
convert. If you want to learn more about morality, si Jay Aruga.
Si Jay Aruga.
Diba? Magkakasama kami. If you want apologetics, nandyan ng Unboxing Catholicism.
If you want comedy, kay Romar
Andyan
Chuka.
yung Romar Chuka. Kailangan mong tumawa habang nag-aaral. Hindi pa pwedeng puro deep theology without comedy. So, mahalaga na balance yung ating formation. And I would like to encourage na tayo, we are part of community of content creators and Catholic influencers. We exist to serve the church. Hindi naman po kami nandirito para magparamihan tayo ng views and likes. Di ba? At the end of the day, we want to serve them.